Hi everyone, my name is José Vieira and I work at the Center for Artificial Intelligence and Analytics in Fidelidade Group. The insurance sector is full of data science challenges, such as classical supervised classification models for customer cross-sell and churn propensity, as well as deep learning and computer vision exercises, such as intelligent document processing, car damage assessment in either pictures or video, or even topic and sentiment analysis in either text messages or phone calls. All of these projects are built by our internal teams at the center. If you'd like to know a little bit more about our projects, feel free and reach out. I wish all of you a wonderful World Data League. Best of luck.
Fidelidade, so that life doesn't stop.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our second live session of WDL 23. My name is Miguel. I'm head of operations at WDL. I'm tuning in from Portugal, and I'll be one of your hosts today. Here with me, I have Tamara, whom you already met on our last live session. Tamara, how's it going over there?
Really good. It's really nice in Switzerland. It started to warm up. And yeah, I had a look through all of your solutions, and I'm really excited about this challenge and also all of the next ones.
Great stuff. I'm also super excited about these semifinals, and obviously we're going to learn way more about that on the second part. Right now, there's no point in delaying it any longer. The first phase of WDL is officially finished, which also marks the beginning of the semifinals, but let's not spoil any of that for now. For this phase, it was 3 long weeks of work for everyone. Participants, mentors, jury, organizers as well. And so I'd just like to say congratulations. Congratulations to all the teams for getting this far. Congratulations to all the mentors for being so supportive. We got excellent feedback. And obviously, congratulations to all jury for delivering the evaluations. That was an awesome achievement. Now, I know you're all super excited to know who the winners are, right? And also who are the top teams that will go on to the semifinals. So let's not waste any more time and let's see the leaderboard for the first phase of WDL, shall we? Let's go. Okay, so you just saw the leaderboard for the first phase of WDL. Congratulations to all of the teams. If you remember our prize pool rules, we have the excellency pool prize. That means that in the first phase and the semifinals as well, there will be a prize pool of 3,000 euros per stage, which will be split proportionally across the teams with over 225 points. So if you still remember the leaderboard, that means that Bias Bunch, they got 229, and they were actually the only team that went above 225. So Bias Bunch, you just got 3K richer. Congratulations. Huge achievement. Calm Coders almost there. So keep going, because this does not mean that you're out of the competition or any other team. So yeah, keep on and keep competing. Now we yeah, right, Tamara, like everything is still on the line, still open.
Like if you passed on to the semifinals, you have another full shot, new challenge, new blank slate, and yeah, seeing all the solutions, I think, and especially getting the feedback from the juries, you can do even better now. And everyone who submitted a solution did a ton of work. So congrats to everyone, and especially to the people who won. But sometimes it's just a few points, and sometimes it's just a few few more points or a few things, and you will learn and have another shot.
And improve, above all. Couldn't agree more. On top of that, there's also the Social Impact Award. So these are 500 euros that will be attributed to the team with the highest social impact score after the first phase and the semifinals. So on the semifinals, we'll learn who will get this extra prize. So for now, let's see the video pitch of the winning team, and hopefully the other teams can get some inspiration and improve on the next time. Let's see that pitch.
Hello, and thanks for listening to our presentation today for Phase 1 of WDL 2023 Mobility Flows in Lisbon. Our primary aim during this project was to understand movement and how people and traffic flow through a system. We then moved on to creating a model which could help predict these flows in Lisbon and ultimately be used to understand how people move around. Throughout, we tried to return to the idea of improving the commuter's experience, focusing on sustainable methods of transport. We see this as a key deliverable in helping attain carbon neutrality. We use 4 data sets for this project: the WDL mobile device data along with the grid reference data. We also used the Waze traffic jam data provided by WDL. Our final data set was an open source bus network data for Lisbon from the Caris provider.
Our approach was split into 3 main parts. First, the data prep and the feature engineering from the geospatial data that was provided to us. Then we went on to define our metrics. We did this by first visualizing how our key features evolved over time on a map of Lisbon. We then engineered those features for model use. The final step was creating our forecasting model, in which we used a deep learning approach, mainly recurrent neural networks. The results from these were then compared against naive benchmarks in order to choose our final model. The results from this process favored an approach using LSTM layers that only required the label and some time features to make predictions. This outperformed a naive approach, which was repeating the last cycle. Mean absolute error was used as a performance metric, and here are some examples of the model's forecasted points in time for total traffic jam numbers in Lisbon.
The product is an online portal showing the desired area along with functionality to test different plans for change. This product is meant for urban planning professionals who would interact with the tool in order to test out ideas for city improvements and changes they may be interested in making. Behind this tool, there is a model that uses transport infrastructure to predict future traffic impact. When it comes to scalability and next steps, we have three main things that can be done to expand the model and include richer inputs. Before that, we're looking at investing in high quality data that is granular in area and activity, and also to create an initial MVP with improved modeling, focusing on one or two use cases. These should all be easily scalable because of the deep learning approach we have in our model. We hope you enjoy our notebook in more depth, and thank you for listening.
Okay, so you've just gotten the opportunity to see the pitch of the winning team, the Bias Bunch from the UK, 229 points. Congratulations again, guys. Yeah, it was huge. Tamara, what did you think about these solutions? Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it was great. Like once we got the solutions in, I jumped in and looked at the notebooks, and the first thing I always do is scroll and just see the graphs, and seeing the fit just visually, I was like, yes, this could be good. And big congrats for me to the Bias Bunch. You did great.
Yeah, for sure. And Tamara is going to share some tips and tricks on the second half. So stay here to, well, obviously learn more about the challenge, learn about our guests on the Fireside chat, but also stay for these tips and tricks to improve. These might look like small details, but it really can make a difference between getting a prize or not getting, and ultimately winning WDL or not winning. So please stay tuned for that. Now we're going to go to the semifinals, and Tamara will take the helm of this live session. See you guys. See you in a bit.
Hi, everyone. My name is José Vieira, and I work at the Center for Artificial Intelligence and Analytics in Fidelidade Group. The insurance sector is full of data science challenges, such as classical supervised classification models for customer cross-sell and churn propensity, as well as deep learning and computer vision exercises, such as intelligent document processing, car damage assessment in either pictures or video, or even topic and sentiment analysis in either text messages or phone calls. All of these projects are built by our internal teams at the center. If you'd like to know a little bit more about our projects, feel free and reach out. I wish all of you a wonderful World Data League. Best of luck.
Fidelidade, so that life doesn't stop.
All right. That was great. The big reveal. You now know what the semifinals are all about. They are about biodiversity and ecosystems, and especially the Avencas Marine Protected Area. In short, it's called AMPA. And just a bit of background, so you know what we're talking about. The AMPA is a complex ecosystem off of the coast of Cascais, and it's also a model for larger marine ecosystems, which is one of the very exciting things about this challenge. There's a potential to scale up. In the past, the city of Cascais has made a ton of efforts to reduce human interference in this ecosystem to help it recover, but it seems not to be recovering as fast as they expected. So that was one of the reasons why they started collecting more data and why they started to think about what can we do to help this ecosystem and how can we even understand what is happening here. Now, your goal will be to create a predictive model that provides insights into future developments of both endangered species and invasive species in the AMPA. There are some key focuses here in this challenge. One is to consider the developments of these species during the observation period. So the observation period was between 2011 and 2020. So a very long time of literally manual by humans data collection. The second focus is on feature engineering. That was one of the questions that the scientists have is, can we figure out what even influences how these species develop? And the last one is, of course, if the model is scalable and can help other similar ecosystems with similar data collection, that would be amazing. All right, now, if you're like me and you're not Portuguese, you might be asking yourself, or you might be Googling now, where exactly is this place? And I wanted to save you that time. I put a little map here of Portugal, and you can see the red arrow. That is approximately, it's actually a little bit too much to the right now, but approximately where Cascais is located. And off the coast, you can see on the left-hand side, the AMPA, the different sections of the AMPA already actually. And these sections, you will see those in the data. You will know in which section a certain collection was made. You don't have to screenshot this. Both of these illustrations are in a paper that is going to be linked for you in the challenge brief. Okay. That was all about the challenge for now. Before we start chatting with Ana, the biologist who has been doing a ton of work on this project and knows this in and out, I have a few more points to make. One is, as Miguel already mentioned, we have some tips and tricks for you, or reminders in a lot of cases, how you can make sure that you don't lose points over small details. The first one is make sure you submit on time. Remember Murphy's Law, everything goes late, everything goes wrong in the last minute. So make sure that you maybe have an hour left when you hit submit, just in case something goes wrong, or maybe even a few hours so you can ping us on Discord if something's not right. The second one is make sure you use the right file format. Files easily get corrupted or mixed up on the way. The notebook should be a Jupyter notebook, the pitch should be an MP4, and the executive summary a Markdown file. The next one is make sure your notebook is not too large. If it's over 50 megabytes, maybe consider if you can figure out how to make it smaller. For example, I've seen a team do that they had their visualizations on GitHub and they linked them from the notebook. That's a possible way you can do that. If that's really not possible, please get in touch with us early so we can try to help you and can see how we can get your solution on the challenge platform. Next one, this was a big one, and unfortunately a few teams lost points this way. Make sure that all the cells with outputs you want to see the jury have been run. So you know that the notebook needs to be runnable, and we control that sometimes, but the jury will not run your notebook. So the jury will look at your notebook the exact way that you submitted. So if there's a table or a graphic that you want them to see, either make sure the cell is run and the table is there, or put it in a Markdown cell. And similarly, add context. You all wrote great code, sometimes extremely modular with a lot of functions. Make sure that you add some context so the jury can understand what you did. You can do that in the form of Markdown text or also comments in your notebook itself. And lastly, you can double check your submission after you upload it, and you uploaded it at least 1 hour early. You can double check that everything is there and everything looks the way that you want it to. All right. Now, before we move on, we had a small activity during this phase. We asked you to submit questions that you would like to ask a data science company. And thank you for the great questions. We got 5 of them, and we had 5 JetBrains licenses to give out. So that was perfect. Thanks so much to Laura, Emma, Ivan, Guillaume, and you can tell me if I mispronounced that, and Kate. You submitted great questions, and you will see the answers on our social media shortly. And with that, we have a tiny break now, and then we are back with Ana from Cascais. All right, we're back, and we're live with Ana. Thank you so much for joining, Ana.
Thank you so much for the invitation, Tamara. It's doing really great. I'm really happy to be here with you guys.
Yeah, and Ana and I have behind the scenes been working on the challenge together, made sure that the challenge brief makes sense, that we have a data dictionary. So I know she knows this data really well and has a ton of domain knowledge about this. Very excited to ask you some questions. If you have questions while we are talking, please put them in the YouTube chat, and it will be passed on to me, hopefully. And if I remember to read them out, I can ask them right now. If you think of questions after this, don't worry, you can always ask them in Discord, and we will again have a 1 hour Q&A session on Zoom in about a week. So with that being said, Ana, do you want to maybe quickly introduce yourself and say what you do at the municipality of Cascais?
Yeah, so I'm a marine biologist, and I've been working for Cascais municipality for about 16 years now. I started out by putting all of these ideas and the necessities that the municipality had back in those days about knowledge for Cascais Sea. And so we were privileged because we were able to set up a large array of projects that today are starting to give us some information and enable us to create a sea strategy that is now being put in place. So it was really fun to start to see everything grow and develop, and now to see the results being reached. And one of those projects was AMPA. So in the early days, it was called ZIBA. It was a biophysical interest zone. It didn't have the format that you saw in that picture. It was a way smaller area, and nobody knew it. And we started to work in that area in 2009, I think, yeah. And started to collect data and to see what kind of information we had, and to see what kind of knowledge do people had when they were going to the beach, or I don't know, colleges outside the Lisbon metropolitan area that went to visit that area, what type of information they would get. And we realized that there wasn't all that much information in that particular space, in that particular area. And so we started to get to work and to get knowledge and data. And those data are the ones that you'll be analyzing in this challenge. So I'm really happy and really curious about what's going to come out of this challenge. And my day-to-day activity at the municipality, it's a whole array of duties and chores. So we at the unit, it's a strategical sea unit, and we work with marine policy, local marine policy. So we call ourselves the bridge makers. We create bridges between stakeholders, local community, scientists, everyone related to the economics and biodiversity of the Cascais Sea. And then we build up projects so that we can address some real issues in the territory. So this is our day-to-day basis.
Thank you so much. And 16 years, which means you've seen this project from conception until now with the whole data collection. And as the participants will see, it's a very special data set. Maybe since we have participants with all sorts of different backgrounds, and I'm not sure if there's a marine biologist among them, maybe, but I think most of them are not. Could you explain what the scientific and biological significance is of the AMPA?
Yeah, so it's a really small area. It's a rocky shore. And in the Lisbon metropolitan area, in that map that you showed, those little stripes in black, it's the Lisbon metropolitan area, so it's a big area. And most of it is sand all around. So there's not that much space occupied by rocky shores. And in this particular area, there's a lot of swell platforms, you know, like they're like platforms of calcareous rock, and this is not a very common habitat here in this area. And also we have a big river, Tagus River estuary. So we're kind of in the middle of fresh water coming from the riverside, and then salt water coming from the ocean side. And also in Cascais, we have two very different coasts. We have the west coast that it's really, really harsh. In the winter time, we get big swells and big waves that surfers love. And then in the southern part of the municipality, there's a bit of a sheltered coast, but it has a lot of sand. And this is where AMPA is. And because of this biophysical diversity, many of the animals that go into the river to reproduce, or that go to the coastline to get some protections from the big storm waves, they shelter there in Vencas. And because it's a very large platform, that it's in a sheltered place, and it has lots of holes and channels and pools. Lots of the species use that area as a nursery ground. So in the springtime, in this time of the year, we get like an explosion of life. You know, we see all those small fishes and all of those small animals coming on shore and staying there until they get bigger. And by the end of the autumn period, they will go further into the ocean, and then they continue their life cycle. So this is a really special place. It's a very small one, but it's a really special place because of the surroundings and because of its biophysical characteristics. So that's why we started to look at it. It was classified in 1998 as that biophysical interest zone. But by those days, it didn't produce many protection effects. Why? Because the entire classification process wasn't built with the community. You know, it was built top down. It wasn't an informed process. All the locals didn't know they were in a protected area. They didn't know the rules. They didn't know why was it special. They didn't know anything. So by the time we started to work there, it was like a big surprise to everyone that there was actually a protected area already in that parish. And we started. This is the reason why there are 4 different survey zones. It's called A, B, D, and E. C, it doesn't exist because it's in the beach, it's in the sand area. And
I was wondering about that.
Yeah. And why did we build up these different sectors? Because the classification zone in 1998 was B and D. So it was inside that small space. And we started to realize that there was no biological reason for for not to be wider, you know, because the platform was the same, and we saw the exact same species, left and right of that small area. So we proposed to extend the area to the total area that it's now in place. But we needed to prove that there were no differences, and we needed to prove that people didn't know they were inside the protected area. And so we started out by assessing the biodiversity in these 4 zones, but also dividing them between the middle tidal zones. So in the tidal zone, that is exposed to the air every 6 hours, you know, because of tides here in Portugal and here in Cascais. Every 6 hours we have a high tide or a low tide. So we have 2 high tides per day and 2 low tides per day. So these organisms that live here have to be really robust and really strong, because they have to suppress difference in salinity, difference in means, they covered in water or completely in the air. They have to be really strong resistance to predators as well, and they have to be really resistant to big storm waves and big disclosures in their environment. So they have to be really rocky animals. And these animals, they divide themselves between three different stages, or 3 different storages inside the tidal zone. So the upper tidal zone, it's called supralitoral. It's called I don't know what's in the data set, but it's upper tidal zone, exactly, upper tidal zone. And these animals, they live mainly outside of the water, okay? So they get to surf from the waves. They are very resistant to being outside of the water, and they're very resistant to difference in temperatures as well. And then in the middle tidal zone are the animals that live every 6 hours inside or outside of the water. And you can see that some of these organisms can be like sea stars or sea urchins, and you ask, or fish, some type of fish, and you can go like, Anna, fish don't live outside water, so come on, how does it work, right? So what happens there is that there are very big rock pools, you know, tide pools. They're filled with water when the tide is low. So this enables the animals to live inside the tide pools and not being desiccated with the heat and with the low water levels. So these animals that live inside these tide pools, they have to be super flexible. They have to be really great at hiding themselves from predators. They have to be really adapted to difference in water temperature, salinity, etc. And they're really special because they're the ones that when the tide goes up, they walk around and then they can go further in bigger depths. So this is why we divided those 4 polygons, those 4 A, B, D, and E areas into 2 subdivisions. It's called upper tidal, the ones that don't live outside the water, and then in the middle tidals, the ones that live in and out of water. And then there's a 3rd level that it's not in our data set, it's not being monitored, and those are the ones that live permanently inside water. So they are at lower depths, and they aren't being monitored by our technicians on field. And why? Because, again, the sea is really rough, and we can't have divers going every month go diving there to see the species.
Yeah, that would be tough, I imagine, to hunt fish by hand down in there. Now, thank you so much for all that context. That's super helpful, especially for people like me who don't have a marine biology background. And I think you can summarize that this is a unique place, and it has a ton of very robust species, sometimes very young species, because they go there to breed, they go there to procreate, to have their young as a breeding ground. So it's really a place as an early indicator in a biological sense. And I know Our participants are listening with a special ear to this, thinking, okay, how can I help? What can I do with this data set that is helping you in your daily work? And what are you looking to get out of this challenge?
Yeah, so we've been collecting data since 2010, 2011, the robust data, and we've been seeing, and the reclassification of the area occurred in 2016. And we conducted a survey in the users of the area, and we saw that there were different patterns in usage. So we are seeing difference in the beachgoers. They respect the area. They use the trailers created to prevent trampling, and they are more aware of this protected area. So we would expect, like in 2020, 2021, to see a recovery of these animals, of these species, in terms of abundance and in terms of percentage of coverage. And we're not really seeing some significant differences in those two variables, and we don't know why. We know that it's a small area and that the border reference is really narrow, and we live in a coastal zone with lots of different variables influencing the species, but we don't know which one is the greatest one. We don't know what we can do to help species to recover a lot faster than they are. There's one thing that everyone says up front is, well, stop people from using the area, stop beachgoers from using there, but we can't do that. It's a marine protected area, but we can't stop people from going to the beach in Portugal here, because it's their right, and it's no way we can prevent that from happening unless there's imminent risk of I don't know, block falling down or something like that. We can't do that in Portugal. We can't do that in Cascais. So that's not a possibility. So which type of variable can we control or can we minimize so that we can have a faster recovery for those species, those very important species here in our municipality? And that was what we thought about, and that was what we think that you guys can help with the work of the municipality.
Yeah, it's almost like a little detective story. We have
Exactly.
an area, the species aren't recovering as much as the experts expect from all that you know. And now the question is, what might correlate with some populations going down, especially of endangered species? In the data set, you will have a list that Ana very by hand compiled to tell me which species are endangered. And so that you can maybe see what correlates with that, and also what correlates with invasive species maybe going upwards. And I had the first thought that I had when I heard about this challenge was, well, what even influences sea creatures at that level? Like you talked about that this is at the very top level of the sea, partially in little ponds. I guess there's a ton of influence factors, not only the first ones that come to mind, that may be ocean temperature, which is on everyone's mind right now, or weather, but also different things that happen in the coast. And I was wondering if you were the participant joining in and doing this challenge, what would be the features that you would look at first?
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
Because I've been so dived into this project. I did my PhD with this data, and so when I look at it, I can see the patterns. I can see what I went to find, and what I'm expecting is completely out of the box theories that would help to explain this. And why? Because this is not only happening in our coast in Cascais, it's happening a little bit up north, and it's happening a little bit worldwide. So if we discover a trend or something that's applicable here in Cascais, maybe we can figure it out what's happening at a smaller scale in other parts of Portugal, in other parts of the world. Because sometimes this is the difficulty. We have larger data sets, we discussed this earlier, right? We have larger data sets for the ocean size or for the national level in each country, but then these data sets aren't usable when it comes to municipal management because they're too large, their cells are too large. And sometimes in our territory, a difference from west to south can be a big difference. Like in our coast, the west coast is completely different from the southern part of Cascais. The animals are a bit different. The species predominance are also a bit different. So you can look at wave exposures, you can look at currents, you can look at, I don't know, sun intensity. I don't know.
Big parties happening at the beach.
Yeah, big parties.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. You are very close to this data. And what you are looking for is out of the box thinking, out of the box ideas. And on one side, figuring out what might correlate with decline of species or not recovering of species. And on the other side, maybe predict which species might be next at risk for extinction. So you can specifically protect certain species. Again, if you even maybe know why are they at risk for extinction, that would be even more helpful because you could try to help them. And this could scale and model for larger places too. So that was,
Exactly.
I'm a little bit mindful of the time because we have half a minute left until the challenge starts. Yeah, 30 seconds.
Yes.
I will quickly take a look at the chat. Okay, I don't think we had a question come in. You have plenty of time to ask your questions. Is there anything left? You have 10 seconds that you want to say, other than good luck.
Yeah, that's it. Good luck to you all and good work. I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good luck.
Hi, everyone. My name is José Vieira, and I work at the Center for Artificial Intelligence and Analytics in Fidelidade Group. The insurance sector is full of data science challenges, such as classical supervised classification models for customer cross-sell and churn propensity, as well as deep learning and computer vision exercises, such as intelligent document processing, car damage assessment in either pictures or video, or even topic and sentiment analysis in either text messages or phone calls. All of these projects are built by our internal teams at the center. If you'd like to know a little bit more about our projects, feel free and reach out. I wish all of you a wonderful World Data League. Best of luck.
Fidelidade, so that life doesn't stop.